If you don't like ASMR, don't listen to this episode.
We're back.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast.
No one's letting you forget in the club. That is for fucking sure.
Are you in lots and lots of pain? How bad is the pain?
Fuck you fucking asshat.
Have fun dancing in the floor.
Number one, why am I calling you? Number two, you ruined everything.
Oh, so good. Yes, excellent. Recording. Is that working? Hello. Oh yeah. Just needs to be a little closer.
Working?
I think we just need to be close to the mic and just talk
Voluptuously?
voluptuously.
Can we keep that in?
Yeah, of course we can. We can do anything we want because you're eating popcorn.
What? It's farmer's market kettle corn, man. It's legit.
If you don't like ASMR, don't listen to this episode.
What is ASMR?
When you listen to people chewing.
Oh.
Yeah. Or doing weird sounds and shit.
It's gonna trigger people.
Yep.
I'll keep my chewing over to the left. Listen, we have our setup on pots and pans.
We are the most professional podcasters to ever live.
You're so unhinged. But guess what?
We're back.
It's the whole thing around done is better than none. And done is better, messy is better than perfect. What is it, the whole inaction?
Yeah.
Messy action
is better than no action.
And perfect inaction. Where the fuck that?
I don't even know what that means.
Whatever. Anyways, let's move along.
Moving along. It's not even what we're talking about today. What are we talking about?
Okay. So today is day 2 of our Club Unhinged challenge. I'll wrap this one up. Okay. It's day 2 of our Club Unhinged challenge. And this week, we are starting off with a bang. First of all, if you're not in the challenge, you can still come in. Yeah. It's legit free. There's nothing to lose and everything to gain. And we have very actionable, the whole idea of the challenge is not to stress you out and overwhelm you and get you all fucking bent out of shape. And it's this is a really simple, digestible challenge for you to have micro wins so you can build and identity shift and start to really build the confidence to make bigger changes and shifts. Because again, it's summer, we get it. You're in the vibes probably.
Yeah,
and
same with us.
Yeah, we're in the vibes. And so we don't want to be having anything super dense or big or heavy that's slogging down the energy. We want to be out laking it and margaritaing it and patioing it and all the vibes. So we're how can we do something that's transformative and is going to set people up for that rich September season where you're able to head in like a fucking boss, feeling like you haven't, it's not the all or nothing, because that was a big thing for me, all or nothing energy. I'm either all in or all out, or I'm either eating egg whites and grapefruits and diet pills, or I'm
chomping
fucking cheeseburgers and ho-hos and ding-dongies and sitting around fucking crushing, watching Jenny Jones. It doesn't have to be one or the other. So I think this balance, anyways, long story short, to wrap it up, our week challenge this week is around cleaning up the fucking garbage and cleaning the clutter and just excavating some stuff that you have that's accumulated that is probably you're not even realizing it, but it's taking up energetic, emotional, physical, spiritual, mental space.
Totally.
So,
and it really all started when we had a conversation in the club around a breakthrough that both of us had around the dishes. And we had this pattern of, well, I'll speak for myself.
No, it was a we.
It was a we, but I'll speak for me.
Sure.
I have a pattern of doing incomplete work. And when it comes to certain things, I can take it to the finish line, no problem. But when it comes to things like dishes or laundry or just any fucking chore in my house, I cannot do complete work to save my goddamn life. And so this came up in one of our conversations, and then we brought it to the club because both of us had this come to Jesus moment of like, what is wrong with us? But also, there's nothing wrong with us, and we're both doing this thing of like not taking it to the finish line, but for different reasons. For me, it was a sense of having control and autonomy over these tasks that I don't like to do, and I feel like someone else is telling me to do them, even though I literally live alone, and no one else is telling me except the voice in my head, my conditioning, really. And then Christine, you had a very similar pattern with the dishes of like we'd leave like a spoon or a straw or a cup or a plate, and we just wouldn't, or like not wipe the counter. Like there would be something that we would do that we wouldn't cross the finish line, and it was a way of keeping our energy open looped. So like when I don't complete those tasks, there's an open loop in my mind that's constantly thinking about the fact that I still have one more dish in the sink to do. And then that can be the ultimate distraction in taking action in other areas that may be a little bit more confronting to me. And it also just clutters up the energetic field. And if I'm doing it in one area, I am 100% doing it in others. And so like every task in my house falls under this category. And so we brought it to the club, and much to our surprise, a lot of the women in the club also had the same pattern. We're like, all right, there's something here around, bring the fucking cleanup crew. We've got some garbage disposal to work out here. We're going to be good little garbage people for the next little while and clean the physical space as a way to clean the energetic and the emotional and the mental space so that we can really get clear on the vision that we want for ourselves and our lives. And I mean, it's been wild, the shit that's been coming up as we like clear out. Literally having like breakdowns and mini panic attacks. Oh my God, I can't let go of this sweater I've never worn. Or like I'll literally stare at that fucking spoon in the sink for a good 20 minutes having a battle with myself about should I wash the spoon or not. Like my awareness of the pattern is on. And just because you have awareness of the pattern doesn't mean the pattern automatically transforms. We have to then meet those moments with consciousness and choose differently. And so I have spent the last month, sometimes at a war with a spoon in my sink because I'm like, oh, the old me wants to just leave it and go to bed. And then the new me is like, bitch, we got shit to do. Like, this is part of the process to creating the life and the relationship of your dreams. Wash the fucking spoon. But sometimes it's legit, like, I'll stand there, like, in this mental battle with myself around one or two things in the sink. And I have all the reasons and justifications in the world as to why I shouldn't have to do it and why it's totally okay to just do it tomorrow. And I'm not going to lie, like there are times where I totally let the old conditioning run. Sure. And then there are more times that I'm running the new pattern. So it's not about getting it right 100% and like being perfect, but we make these micro adjustments as we go.
I'd like to inform you that I've stopped eating kettle corn. I'll throw that in there real quick. Okay. I love it. And for me, yours was control. And even as you were talking, I was like, I feel like so many people can probably resonate, especially if you grew up in a household that was more controlling or there was a lot of rules or expectations. And like, for me, when I noticed it, you and I were on a call and we both outed each other and we were like, what? You do that too?
Yeah.
And I remember cleaning up after the kids and myself, and like I would do the dishes, but then I would like leave the counters. So I wouldn't wipe the counters. And I was so curious. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Why do I have such a resistance? And it's like, I know, and then it was this like crazy awareness where I'm like, I do this sometimes because it allows that really old story to remain active. It like feeds it, it injects it, the story that like, I'm not capable. I like, you know, I'm a fuck up or whatever the thing is that like really is fighting to stay alive. And I've really, I don't say eradicated that, but I've like really transformed that in a lot of different ways. And so it was like a sneaky way for the OG version to like still have a place and be like, see, like, because every time I would leave the counter, what I noticed, or like, you know, it would the counter or like a dish or something, it was like one thing where I would look at the dish. It's not about the dish or the counter. It's the representation. It's like this looking at it and being like, oh, I'm like, I would look at it and then I would experience like shame. Like, so it was this like way to keep me in an energetic that my system had become addicted to over the years. So it was like the addiction to shame, the addiction to, you know, people have addictions to anger, they have addiction to shame. And I remember Joe Dispenza saying like, we use the people and places in our environment, we actually will use them to reaffirm our addiction to suffering. When he said that, I had a fucking like head blown emoji because I sat there and I was like, oh my God. Fuck. So we keep people, even though we're so annoyed by them or we're annoyed by whatever that it is, we will actually like unconsciously keep them in our lives because they're our gateway to our suffering. They're the gateway to the anger. They're the gateway to whatever, and they keep us in, our body becomes chemically addicted to those chemicals. Yeah. And so if we don't, like an addict, if we don't get our hit in the morning, it's like, oh, right now, Christine, hold on, it's time for you. This is the time where you get to hit your shame. This is the time you get to hit your complaining. And so it's like that really old sort of chemical thing coming online. And so it takes consciousness, but like when you and I had that awareness, I was like, this is not something I want to continue. No. This is not the story and the pattern. So like I make a conscious choice to be like, I'm going to clean the counters because this is my investment in who I know I am. Yeah. And I grew up in a very cluttered environment. The house was always messy. There was clothes everywhere. And again, from learning more about the nervous system and just like these pieces, we will seek environmental like stimulus and conditions and environments that mimic what we were like in childhood. So there was a part of me where I noticed like every time I would go certain places, if I wasn't conscious, I would go and like splatter all of my stuff. Like I'd go to a hotel room and within like half an hour it would be like everywhere. I'm like, what is happening right now? Because it would make me stressed and dysregulated. And so it's a very conscious thing though. Like it's fascinating when you're working against the conditioning. And this is where, we've been like really unearthing these patterns. I've also been, and I know you have as well, we've been like really dialing into our environments and being like, okay, let's have these awarenesses, and at the same time, let's also clear out. Let's start, I went on like a rampage and I went through my whole kitchen, and I started with things because I would definitely say have struggled in the past with getting rid of things. Again, I grew up in an environment where there was stuff everywhere and there was like multiples of things and all that. And so it was really familiar. And so I started, and if you can resonate with this, like I started with the kitchen because I'm like, okay, this is easier because it's either expired or it's not. How can I go for the lowest hanging fruit so I can win? So I started with a drawer, just being like, today I'll just do a drawer. But then that turned into the whole kitchen. And then I had a ton of energy for it. And then it sort of started this wildfire where I'm starting to go through and like, digest little pieces and start to throw stuff out. But as I've done that, massive breakthroughs have started to happen. Money started to come. Like it's all these pieces that it started to unlock. And it's funny because it seems so arbitrary. It's like, oh, cool, me cleaning out my spice drawer has created more money. But the thing is, it's like it's an identity shift because we're moving out of what stresses us out and what we know is in alignment, but sometimes feel paralyzed to do anything about it, and moving into action, even in digestible ways, and expanding our capacity to like show up differently. And those actions send a massive ripple out. And that's, I think, how we start to really get that momentum going. And so this is to circle it back, is the challenge is all about Very simple, very easy, just one thing to focus on for the week. You have one task to complete. That's it. It's not like this week it was about cleaning out like one thing.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, you don't have to do, if you are inspired to do more, you can.
Sure.
But you don't, it's like you can win by doing that one thing. And then we win at something and we're like, oh, that's a like positive dopamine hit, or that's like a, step in the right direction. And so our whole thing is like just small, little, digestible, bite-sized tasks and actionable things that are going to start taking you in the direction of that transformation you're seeking.
Well, and also the rich life that you want to cultivate.
Yeah.
Like, we can't have a rich life, whether that's money, wealth, love, health, whatever it is, when our energy field is fucked. We can't.
No.
And I've been thinking a lot about this lately, of how much our environment shapes our results. So you want to break through in your business. Well, this is why we want to take a look at the home, because you probably spend a lot of time at home. And if the vibes are fucking off and there's something that dysregulates you there, well, then it's also going to impact what you can and will do in your business. And this can be like paralleled with any area of life. So it's not just business and money, but it also can be paralleled into your relationships, into your health, into your well-being, like your willingness to be creative. Like, some people maybe thrive in a lot of chaos, but do they? Right. Like, I really wonder about that. Like, are you actually thriving in chaos, or have you just learned how to be with it and kind of get by?
Well, and sometimes that's that neural connection can be so intoxicating and hard to break sometimes, because in the chaos or dysregulation, we've found success or accolades or whatever it is. And so there's now a neural connection around, okay, well, if I'm super crazy busy and I work this amount, then I've achieved my things, and the pathway was through this. And there's a great, I think, unwinding right now around, what I've seen is, and there's a course inside the club called Slow the Fuck Down, your pathway, like the gateway essentially to your like peace and joy. And like, it's so good because it's like getting people back into their bodies, and experiencing this. But I say there in a lot, like, people think slowing down is going to like hurt them. And when you slow down, you speed up, and you're in alignment, and you're in flow, and you're in ventral, and you're in your like, that flow state. And in flow state, you can get a gazillion times more done with a greater efficiency.
100%.
Because there's not scattered energy. You're not coming from fight or flight. Like, you're connected to something completely different in that you have creative, faculty. There's so many other things online. And so I think slowing down and, like you said, really stepping into, like, Kelsey and I are so committed to helping you step into your hot, rich, and thriving era. And again, when we say that, it's like rich in whatever is rich for you, and whatever's truth and authentically rich for you. And that's where in the club, sometimes you might not even know what that is for you. And that's where we help you decondition and find out. We help you like peel back the layers to be like, who's the fullest expression of you? Because when you understand that, you step into your magnetic, hot, abundant, like as shit, like thriving self, and that magnetizes everything to you, your people, your relationship, the money, all the stuff. And so I think that starting with the garbage removal, creating spaciousness to have that come in, like, and you're also sending out a really big ripple, because when you're willing to get rid of something, you're saying, I trust in abundance, I trust in prosperity, I trust in that I will, like that vacuum law, like, I need to create the space for it. Because when we're holding on energetically to something that we don't love anymore, like the amount of stuff in my fucking closet, and I stare and I'm like, oh my God, I wore that to Vegas when and there's like an emotional connection. Yeah. But it's not even usually a good thing. It's like, oh, that's attached to when I was
traumatized. Totally.
Or before kids. Oh, look, I remember how hot and skinny. And then it pulls me into some sort of old energetic. And rather than just saying, like, thank you, I love you for being in me in that time, and like I want to pass this on to somebody who loves it, therefore creating space and showing the universe like, yeah, I'm ready to receive something different. I'm ready to receive something in alignment with who I am today. Because if there is always enough, and if that is true, then if I get rid of something, I'm saying like I'm ready for something else.
Yeah.
That's truth. Like I think of how many things in my closet stress me out and cock block the hot new thing I want to wear. Like I forget what I have because I'm like stiff, like going through all the shit I don't even like.
Right.
And then I forget that I even have these immaculate new things.
Right.
And then the immaculate new things are not even in a vibe anymore. And
yeah,
then
they
I'm
don't
like,
even get to be worn. They don't get to be appreciated.
No, they get like, it's like, oh, I can't. I'll save you for another, like, fucking, I'll save you for a
special day.
Special day. And I'm like, bitch, today's the special day. Because
Yes.
tomorrow's not guaranteed.
100%.
So, like, wear the fucking dress. Wear the fucking, like...
lingerie.
Yeah, do the thing today.
Do it today. And I love what you just said about, when we get rid of things, it's like sending this ripple out that we trust that something better is going to come through. And I think there's also this level of the second you get rid of something or you let go of something that's no longer right and true for you, you're also simultaneously saying that I trust myself to create the conditions for the life that I want. I'm backing me. Full stop. And when we hold on to stuff, I think there's this element of I don't fully trust myself that I'll be able to make it happen, that I'll be able to do it. If I let go of all of these physical things that I've accumulated, and the accumulation of these things is somehow tied to my worth, at least when I still have them, I have an access point to my worth and my value. And if I let them go, well, what am I left with? I'm left with myself. And if I don't trust myself to be able to create powerfully, well, I'm not going to create powerfully, first of all. I'm going to run on default and hope for the fucking best. And newsflash, like running on default will never get you where you want to go. It never does. Like you get where you want to go by intentionally creating it, by taking steps every single day, by acting in alignment with the thing you say that you want. And I see this a lot in the relational space, holding on to, whether it's a relationship or holding on to certain things in your environment that remind you of versions of yourself that you've been before, which then anchor you to those versions. And the vision that you have for love and partnership requires an evolution of who you are. And so we can't evolve and expand if we are like holding on and super attached to these old versions of ourselves and like these smaller compressed versions. We call this the OG version. And the 2.0 is like, bitch, we need to fucking expand. We need to transform. We need to be acting differently. And, the partner just doesn't show up magically one day. It might seem that way after you've done a fuck ton of clearing out and like acting in alignment with the thing that you want. So you want like a vibrant partnership. Well, are you acting in integrity? Are you being honest? Are you being transparent? Are you, in your creative energy every day? Are you speaking your needs out loud? Like, are you acting in alignment with what that type of relationship will require from you? Because if you haven't practiced that before you get into the relationship, let's say by some stroke of fucking magic, you land this person. You know what you're going to do? Fuck it up. You're going to sabotage it. Because you haven't built the internal infrastructure. You don't know how to be and act inside of that relationship to create the conditions for that relationship to thrive. And so we're starting at like a very bare bones, like we're right at the ground level. And like it starts with like cleaning out the fucking closet. Cleaning out the junk drawer, the trunk of your car, taking your car for a car wash, like whatever it is that helps you clean the energetics of your physical space So that once that's dialed and it's clear and flowy, then we actually have space to look at the emotional and then the intellectual and the relational and the energetic. Like, we don't have capacity to look at any of those other areas until we've like cleaned up the physicality of our like physical space. And listen, you don't have to be a fucking clean freak. It's about like you being in right relationship with you. So like I'm naturally a pretty messy person. But there's a difference between like the chaos of like dysregulation and holding on to shit where like it feels like I'm kind of stuffed to the brim versus like there's some socks laying on the floor. Who fucking cares?
Sure.
Or like I didn't like put my shoes like totally like in a neat order. I just chucked them into the closet. Different than I'm holding on to all of this shit from like 10, 15, 20 years ago that I've outgrown in so many ways. But every time I see it, it's a reminder of that version. And then I just naturally, unconsciously slip into that version. Because the conditions of my environment are literally saying, like, this is who you are.
Yeah, they cue us.
They cue us.
They cue us.
Your environment cues you.
I remember when I came back from Joe Dispenza's retreat, and he said, what you did here is great, but it is going to be, like I remember saying to I had this roommate at the time, and I was like, having all these fucking epiphanies. And I looked at her and I was like, the challenge. And I was like, hold on, wait, no. The opportunity is when I go home, it's going to be around the same people and the same environment because the environment cues. If you think about it, when you get up in the day, when you look around, you're like, oh, right, this, you plug into your senses. It's like the avatar's gone to sleep and then you wake up and you're in the, oh, right, I'm in the video game. Oh, right, okay, that. Oh, God, I'm overwhelmed by that. Okay, hold on. Oh, yeah, I feel familiar. I feel overwhelmed. Okay, cool. It's like the default state. And I think that what's really impactful is every so often is like there's phases, but I think that looking at your environment, looking at who you are, looking at your emotional status, looking at your relationships, looking at your even clients. Like if you're in business, like I'm a coach, and there's been times I have had to like ask myself, like, am I fully in service to this person? Like, are we still an energetic match? Like, is this like, we even have to do stuff like that, or depending on whatever industry you're in, there may be times where partnerships or like coaching clients where you're like, I know that this isn't in service anymore to either party or like different things like that, right? Like everything is always in motion. So nothing is ever like, humans are coded for predictability and we love things to be permanent. It's like, oh,
certainty.
Here's the permanent thing that I have. And it's like, bitch, there is no permanency. It's literally always going. And the more we can get really comfortable and familiar with that there's always a need to go in and excavate. And then like, it's just, it's like an up leveling. Every time we do that, we're saying, let's say like a client was out of alignment, you'd be like, okay, part of the ego would be like, well, I don't want to, maybe I'm making money off of this, or maybe it's something that's helping me financially. But if it's not in service, it's not good for either party. And there's also a certain energetic that you're saying without saying it. I don't trust that there's enough aligned people or clients out there, so I will continue to serve this person in misalignment. And then you can imagine what that does, right? Or, you know, again, close relationships. I know very well what it's like to stay in relationships too long.
Same.
Past the alignment.
Yeah, the expiration date is long
standing
gone.
there. And the pain that comes from that.
Yeah.
And the misalignment, right? And I think parties do that all the time, right? Like there's so much of that. It's like, we're saying is I don't trust that there's a person out there. I'd rather take mediocrity. I'd rather take, and it's not a what's the word? Knock at the other person because they might think we're fucking mediocre. Like it's like, it goes both ways, but it's just like, I think there's people who are in, you know, I've had friendships and they're like, I can't fucking, like every time I go out, they're just bitching about their partner. And it's like, I mean, I can so have appreciation and compassion. because I'm sure I've done that myself, but there's also this like, but you know that you can change that. You can either redefine your relationship or you can
leave it.
You can leave it, and that's okay. And like, you know, I'm somebody who had left a relationship, and yes, I have kids, and yes, there's impact, and there's all those things. But I think that when we are willing to fight for our alignment and fight for our truth and really just say yes, even to things that don't make sense, and be willing to release the grip, we're saying like, I'm willing to release my grip on this because what I'm saying if I don't is that I don't trust. I'm not trusting that something better is going to come fill this and something, because we're constantly evolving and growing every second of every day, and things fall in and out of alignment. That's why people
100%.
show in and out of life. Like there might be somebody who's like a vibe, and then we go back into fucking OG fucking hardcore and ground zero, and all of a sudden
not a vibe anymore.
Not a vibe. Everything gets a little dark and gray, and then you're like, oh, and then all of a sudden you fucking like take some action and fucking become a badass again, and all of a sudden that person just swirls back into your vortex, and you're like, oh, I get this whole frequency and vibration thing, and that whole like energetic match type of situation. But I think even in relationship, like you're speaking about, it's so important, like you were saying, to become, like so many people have these fucking lists, and it's like, I want this and this and this, and he's got to be this and this and this.
6'6".
And I'm like, bitch, like, are you, like, would you want, I know we've riffed on this before in our other podcasts, but like, would you want to date you? And you have all these lists, but it's like, you know, and that's why I've also been raising my standards for myself, because I have to ask myself, would I want to date me right now?
Right.
Would I want to be in that pattern? Like, and it's not about being perfect. I'm not about it at all. But there's that, like, noticing our old patterns that keep us environmentally plugged into who we've been, that remind us of what we do or don't do, what we can and can't do all the time. And so I think challenging those and the removal of, like, taking out the garbage, becoming your own fucking garbage man, and taking out the trash creates, it's actually scary how quickly things start to happen, transform when you do that. Like, it's fucking bonkers. I usually get, like, literally instant feedback. Like, I'll do something, I'll do a clean out, and then I'll get, like, 10 downloads the next day, or somebody will come into my vortex. Like, it's actually scary how quickly it happens, and this is why we're excited to, like, it may seem so irrelevant. You're like, oh, cool challenge, sweet. I gotta clean out a fucking sock drawer. Okay,
you do.
Oh, there's that vibrator I found. There it is.
Oh, I see what the vibes they're talking about.
Hey, Johnny Walker, how have you been? Missed you.
I actually did find a bunch of sex toys when I did my sock drawer clean out.
Treat yourself.
I know. I was like, oh, I forgot about these. I don't use vibrators, but I use sex toys, and but I was holding on to these vibrators that I got at a sex party. Like a sex toy party. No, I mean, like,
I was like,
hold on.
Let's switch gears here. Enough about the garbage. Tell me more.
And I'd gotten it as, you know, like when you get like the gifts at these parties, and it's like this fucking dolphin.
Oh, Christ.
And I'm like, how is this ever supposed to feel good on my clit? Like, come on. I think I tried it once, and I was like, this is just weird, and this doesn't feel good.
I'm fucking a dolphin right
I'm
now.
I'm fucking a dolphin. This is not a vibe. But I held on to it. I'm like, why is this occupying any degree of space in my life and in my room? Like, this needs to fucking go.
I'm not a dolphin fucker.
I'm not a dolphin fucker.
Maybe that's the name of the episode.
Maybe.
Taking out the trash, and I'm not a dolphin fucker.
I mean, I'm glad we find ourselves so entertaining.
Yeah, people are on this podcast are like, all right, I'm about to turn you bitches
You
off.
two are insane.
Oh my god, I just looked up and I saw 3333 on the mic.
Well, there we go. That's confirmation. But, you know, it's like that meme of, like, me, like, cleaning out my room, and you have, like, all of these different, like, trinkets on. Like, you've got a fucking wand and a staff and a sword and all sorts of shit. Like, it can be a fun process.
Yes.
And also, like, we see how much we just hold on to shit that we may not actually need anymore or even want anymore. Like, and no one's saying you can't keep the things that mean something to you.
Absolutely.
I'm a very sentimental person, like, and having a father who his love language is gifts. So I do like to keep cards. I do like to keep gifts. And there's nothing wrong with that. As long as like I'm really letting go of the shit that I'm like, why the fuck am I holding on to this?
Yeah.
Like, so-and-so who gave this to me years ago doesn't get their feelings hurt. They don't fucking know if I kept this or not.
I shall keep my suffering of clutter.
Yes.
For something that you have no idea. You probably forgot you fucking gave it to me.
Yeah, it was probably clutter in your house.
You
and you
re-gifted
gave
it
it to me. And now I have this sense of loyalty and guilt. So
I have these troll trinkets hanging around.
Although troll trinkets probably are worth a good fucking dose of money these days. But you get what we're saying. You know, you're going to encounter things as you do your clean out that you're like, why have I held on to this? We talked about this in terms of art. I was holding on to a couple pieces of art that I didn't even like. But someone had painted them for me. And I was like, well, they went to all this effort to paint this for me. Surely I have to keep it. And not only keep it, but hang it up.
Love it.
And love it. And it's only been since we started doing this clean out that I'm like, wow, like I see all of these spots where I'm compromising myself. And you may not, you're like, Kelsey, it's a fucking painting. Who cares? But every time I look at that painting, I'm reminded that I've abandoned myself by keeping it.
Yes.
And there could be a piece of art that actually appeals to me more, which ironically, I do have two pieces of art that I'm like, oh, I love these. They're like naked photos of chicks, and they're so fucking hot. You know, the like fine line drawings? They're so hot. But I don't have them hung up because I have this other art that I hate on my wall.
And then it also like is such a bad energetic towards the person who did it because you're like every time you see it, you're reminded of how much you don't like it, and then you associate it with them, and it's like usually going to them, and you're being like, I'm gonna fucking take you down.
I know. So like, we feel you if you're going through like these very visceral, like tension spots as you do the clean out, because I mean that's definitely happening for both of us. Yeah. Where we're meeting our edges and like it's coming up against pieces of our conditioning, or like for me bringing up places where, you know, there's a lot of pain.
Yeah. And,
you know, I have a lot of adaptations that I have developed in response to avoiding pain. And a lot of that is like, let me hold on to these things, and like, I may not have had control when I was younger over the physical boundaries of my space, but I have control now. And so I'm going to assert that authority by making the environment not comfortable for me.
I'll show you how much I won't clean up, Mom and Dad. Let me show you. I'm going to be this woman.
I'm the boss of me now.
I'll make my dinner and then I won't do the dishes.
Which, listen, there is a fucking vibe in that.
Sure.
Especially if you grew up in a very strict environment like I did.
Right.
Where there wasn't a lot of leeway room for moments of like humanity.
Yes.
Like we're actually just too exhausted to do this.
Yes.
You need to override your boundaries.
For sure.
And override the signals of your body. But when we swing to the other extreme.
Yes.
And then we never find the middle counterpart, like spot where we're actually in balance. Yeah. That's not great either.
Yes.
So yes, you gotta fucking swing. Like, be a little wrecking ball.
Yeah.
Go to the other end.
Teenager's gonna come out hardcore.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
Throw a little temper tantrum. Be a little bitch. And then find your middle ground. Yeah. Where you're like, actually, yeah, I don't want to be like in full chaos either.
Yes.
That doesn't feel great. So, like, where's the happy medium? Where, like, occasionally I might not do the dishes, but then I get up the next morning and I do complete work and do them start to finish.
Yeah.
You know, like, there are ways to work with it. It's not this all or nothing perfectionism thing where your inner tyrant comes on and, like, punishes you into submission. Like, that's not what we're talking about here.
No.
At all.
No.
That's not a vibe.
No. It's flexibility. I think that's the thing, right? And I know for me, I thrive in a clean environment. I know that I'm more regulated. I know because I have so many unpredictable pieces in my life, including the children, right? Like there's so many unpredictable things that having a clean environment helps me thrive. And that's something I've learned over time. And so if I don't have the energy, then I can, like, I have the privilege of hiring a cleaner and like recruiting other sources to help me in that environment.
Totally.
Like sometimes it's like so overwhelming. So I've had that before where it's like, I don't even know where to start. So you can start small, or I've found success in like hiring a cleaner. They come in, they do the space, and then I find my ability to go in and tackle areas when I have a clean environment is like, it's like a head start. It's like you know what I mean? It's like a fast track way. And something that popped in as you were talking, and I'm curious to know your thoughts as listeners, and you can always message us with your thoughts on this. But when you were talking about having so many things, I think this is also a big unraveling when it comes to generational trauma.
Oh, yeah.
Collective trauma, and to like history. Because if you think about it, like I look at, you know, my grandma's, and I look at the way my mom, you know, my parents are. And they have like 7 milks, and they have like 14 things of eggs, and there's like 14 cans. And I remember we went through my grandma's, bless her, we went through her, she's such a fucking firecracker. We went through her like pantry, and there was like soups from like
1968.
like 1992. It's like a Campbell's tomato, 1990. I went to go like make it for the girls, and I looked at it and I was like, ah!
Botulism.
Or like salad dressing from like expired 2007. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh God, no.
So like, but I remember, I think we went to go throw a can out, and she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, huh? And I was like, oh my God. And she's like, it's still good. I'm like, oh shit. Okay. And so I think that there is, I think our generation, there's a lot of unraveling of that coding around, that like cellular coding around not enough, right? Because if you think about it, rationing was not that long ago. So when you have, there's still, I think, that natural instinct to collect and to have, and even with hoard, and even with COVID, right? Like when that happened, and like you saw how people got with like toilet paper and like stuff. So I think that there is, and if people have anxiety about that, right? Like the like doomsdayers and stuff, where it's like, this is the world's coming to an end. I mean, if that happens, I'm fucked. But like,
yeah, just take us out.
I mean, but like, I think that that is also a real factor in the mix, is that there is like, we are dealing with, you know, I'm sure if we were speaking to, it'd be so fascinating to interview somebody like who lived during that time, but it's like, it's a real thing, right? Like that's an actual real, there's a real 100%. Scarcity of like that. So I think that still is really coded in us to a degree. It's like, if you think about it, the previous generations, it's all around like pain minimization, and now we're in this collective, in this like new era where we're like, pleasure maximization, freedom, money on the internet, I'm a YouTube blogger, and now I'm making $2 million. It's like, can you fucking imagine? I was talking to my grandma, and we were talking about how like, she's like, no, we didn't have like
running water.
No, and we didn't have like all these luxuries. She's like, we went across from like the sea, and she's like, the kids were in like cages. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? She's like, yeah, they're basically in like fucking cages going across the like ocean. Like my mom, she was talking about my mom. I'm like, oh my God. And she was talking about how like, she's like, we had to, you know, there's no fucking Amazon delivering diapers. It's like in there washing hand washing the fucking shit out and all this stuff. And I'm like staring at her being like,
what?
Oh, the fucking privilege?
Yeah.
That like modern society has is bananas. And it's not like a guilt trip thing. It's just more around, I think, like
a little reality check.
Yeah, like having some, right? There's still many places that, you know, as we grow the club and we can make a bigger impact and starting to help some of the, you know what I mean? Like doing some of this work that I know we're super passionate about is like just having a hot, rich, and thriving era everywhere in the world and still starting to help people have their basic needs met. But I think that's a big part of it as well.
Oh, it's such a huge part of it. Like, and for us, like we're in our 40s, so our grandparents were born around the Great Depression. So the Great Depression was still happening when our grandparents were born, which means they were being cooked in the womb in that stress. And then you throw in a couple world wars, you throw in some like civil wars. Yeah. There's a lot going on there. Like my grandfather was Japanese, and in World War II in Canada, Japanese people were not the vibe, and his family was put in an internment camp. And I'd known this my whole life, and so I knew that there was definitely some ripples of that in terms of my behavior and my coding and my mom's. And then when my grandfather died, and sidebar, like I have this obsession with socks. So I love, like every time I go into a store, I just need to buy a pair of socks. And they're usually like really nice, swanky socks, like bouge. But not always. Like
sure, medium bouge, medium.
It
medium
is what
rare.
it is.
Medium rare bouge.
And so I was like, this is just like a weird, quirky thing about me. It is what it is. My grandfather passes away in 2020, and they're going through his stuff. And they find drawers upon drawers of socks. Some still in the packages, never been opened, never been worn. But when he was a kid, he only had one pair of socks. And from being in, the internment camp and like not being able to leave the land, and like they were basically hoping that these people would just die. Because they have to fend for themselves off the land. The land, you can't really grow anything on it. So the fact that they survived is fucking wild to me. But he had developed this adaptation of like, I only had one pair of socks growing up. So now as an adult, when I have money, what I'm going to go do is buy socks. So I never have to be with just that one pair of socks ever again. And then it comes through the generational line. Like there's no rational reason why I would also have that compulsion, because I did not grow up in that same environment. I grew up with having my needs met. But I developed this very unusual compulsion for buying socks. And it's only been since my grandfather passed away and I learned this connection that I've actually been able to curb the impulse. So I don't buy as many socks anymore. I still buy them, but not as many. And this is why like cleaning out the sock drawer was so powerful for me, and it is the first place that I started doing like the bigger clean out. I'm like, I need to start with the sock drawer because it's tied to any of this generational trauma that's in my body. And the generational trauma is going to impact how I relate, how I relate to my body, how I relate to life, how I relate to other people. And to even just sit with all of those socks that don't have a mate and like make an agreement with myself that after I complete all of my laundry, if these socks still do not have a mate, they're going in the garbage. Like it feels like visceral terror in my body to let those socks go. But I also know that in letting them go, there's a liberation that's happening in my energy field, the generational line. Like it's bigger than the fucking socks. But the socks become the vehicle for transformation.
The takeaway, it's all about the socks.
It's all about the socks.
Well, it is. It's like the socks are the gateway to your hot, rich, thriving era. Like in a way, right? Like it's all these pieces. It's like the dishes. It's the socks. It's like the things that are, they sort of set fire to this momentum stream. That starts to unfold. And honestly, I think that's like, I remember doing, like in this month in the club, we're really diving into money and your relationship with money. And we have our webinar and like, and all these workshops about money in the club. So if you're not in there, it's a great month to get in there. But we're diving into like the nervous system and diving into why we sometimes unconsciously push away money for the representation or the coding or the relationship, like really tracing the roots back. This is not like a get rich quick workshop. This is a let's look at the like roots and relationship. Yeah, because I mean I've done this where I've like had crazy breakthroughs and made money, and we were talking about this earlier today, how I couldn't actually hold some of the money in my nervous system. I was having like hangovers, nervous system hangovers. And I really understood like that whole thing around like, you know, when you see people winning the lottery and then they blow it all, or athletes, because their identity doesn't match what they're bringing in. And so they unconsciously push it off or reject it. And this is going to be a whole nother podcast episode, but it's interesting because when we don't make that association, like doing something like cleaning out your sock drawer or doing the dishes or starting to clear out what isn't, it actually creates spaciousness for abundance, for things to start to come in. So it's funny when, you know, again, we're very unconventional, but some of our money stuff is like, go clean out your sock drawer and then see what starts to show up. And all of a sudden, like we've had so many clients and so many, you know, members start to say that like, oh shit, I just made money, or this, I just got a new client or whatever. And it's like when we excavate what's in the nervous system, or we start to dissolve some of these like codes in the, that term is kind of funny, that codes, it's like, but I felt right there. It starts to create pathways and gateways for new, like for natural flow to come in. Like it sort of undams the natural flow. Because people say, like, I'm like, you don't have to go out and become abundant. You are it. It already is your natural energy. We just need to start releasing and clearing anything that isn't it, so that your natural state, and you start to, you know, you were designed to come in and to be supported. And so that's what the unlayering and why the club I think is really impactful, because yes, it can be about these different topics, but at the end of the day, the byproduct is more money, it is more happiness, it is more joy, it is like all of these things start to come on. Actually, one of my clients said the other day, she's like, one of the craziest things is I've started to find, like, I'm enjoying life where it's not about having like shitty and then like one good thing and then back to shitty. It's like one of the greatest breakthroughs isn't the extra business, isn't all the other things. It's like actually enjoying life in day-to-day moments and being able to like drive from Vancouver to somewhere else and like actually noticing and being present and enjoying the moment. And I'm like, that is the real richness.
100%.
It's because then the journey becomes a fucking vibe. And you don't even care about the destination because you're already fucking vibing every day. Like you're like,
100%.
right? Like you're already in it.
Well, and it's so interesting that you say that, because that is the theme of the embodiment class that I taught yesterday. I had been in this practice for the last 30 days of being mused by life and just letting life and whatever is happening in my field inspire some form of creative expression. And when I got into the habit of looking for things to touch, move, inspire me, well, there became more things to be touched, moved, and inspired by. And life became like just really fucking juicy and rich to be in. Not only am I having these creative downloads all the time, but like the new women that come into the club, or the women that are already in the club and they're having these big fucking breakthroughs. And like, that is so rich and juicy to me. And getting out and like writing erotica and like writing poems and writing songs, like there's just this flooding of creative energy that comes through when we start to clean out these areas as well. So if you have an area that you're historically challenged by, you do want your creative faculties online to help you figure out how to move through that area. And if your creative faculties are offline because your system is all fucking plugged up, you're energetically constipated, then your creativity is also stifled. And if your creativity is stifled, then your ability to think and imagine solutions is also compromised. or those solutions come in and you discount them, you bat them away. Like this happens all the fucking time.
Yeah.
When someone's in the weeds.
Yeah.
And someone else is having a conversation with them who is not in the weeds,
yeah.
and they're connected to possibility. They're bringing up all of these possible solutions and pathways, and the person who's in the weeds is shooting them down. Not possible.
Yeah.
We can't do that. They have an excuse and a reason and a justification as to why it won't work.
Well, you know what's interesting is as you're saying that is that another zinger when I was at Joe's retreat is he said, this is another like, he said like, your nervous system will only take in the information that is relevant to it in whatever state it's in.
Right.
So like if somebody is in a, like in a higher vibrational state, they're feeling like possibility, they're tapped in. If you're in fight or flight or you're in that like lockdown mode, your system actually it will actually repel and reject, and like it's because it's literally says this is not relevant, because if we turn into animals. If we're an animal in the wild and we have a perceived threat that something is hunting us, it would not be the time to go up to the animal and be like, hey, kitty.
Want to play a game of possibility?
Totally. And guess what? We should just close our eyes and manifest and meditate and the things like, I'm going to get eaten.
Yeah. Well, how about I have you for lunch?
Totally. Like I'm in a state where I'm like all of my resources are going to my limbs and to my jaw, so I can either bite or flee. And so it's not a time to sit and like be in our hearts.
Right.
It's not a time to be in possibility and creativity. And so I think sometimes if you're somebody who's like a healer, or you identify as like a helper or a caregiver, or somebody, you know, who's empathic or cares about other people, and you find that sometimes you're either, you know, I don't want to say advice, but like your reflections can fall upon deaf ears. It's just really being mindful of where somebody is at, because if they are in a state, you know, where
then that is what's happening.
Then that is what's happening, and real and true, and it is going to be. And I've expended a lot of energy in the past, just trying to help people who are just not in a place of like that. It's just not a match in that moment.
I mean, I feel like that's the heart of overfunctioning.
Yes.
You have someone who's in a collapse, the other person isn't. They're trying to help and fix, but the person who's collapsed can't receive it.
No.
But I feel like that's a tangent for another day.
Yeah, I think that's a whole other thing. But I think, the moral of the story is just that
clean your sock drawer.
Clean your fucking sock. Clean anything, or look at where there's an open loop. And that could be a text message. That could be something that you've opened, and like I've really been mindful of this too, because I can like initiate something. That's my energy, and then I will like go dark, and then I won't inform somebody, or like I'm really, there's areas where I'm like, okay, I need to think about this from the other perspective, and you know, like just starting to clean up little areas of your life that you know deep down that you really are like, I know that this would make a difference. I know this will make an impact. I know that, you know, this will help me feel calmer. This will help me feel more peace. Like whatever it is, like just looking and starting with really small things. Because I think where we get sometimes into trouble, and you see this a lot in the September push and the January push and Christmas push, is that we are acting a certain way, we have our default switched on, and then we all of a sudden declare, I'm going to go from 0 to 100, I'm going to have all these massive things. And sometimes if our energy has been really consistent, this is why we're doing the challenge right now, is because when you take small consistent actions over time, it creates a rock solid foundation, and those are when you can have those quantum leaps. That's when you can have these massive time collapses that happen, which are so exciting. But if we go from like, you know, it would be like not going to the gym, and then going to the gym for like a 48-hour fucking bender.
Why am I not super fit?
I just pumped iron for 48 hours straight. Why am I like, why do I not?
Why did my knee collapse?
Right. Like why am I in the hospital? It's like, that's the same idea of change. And also like Kelsey and I are really wanting to create digestible, like nervous system friendly, like activities and micro digestible pieces for you to win, because the wins create, like we're also showing like, oh, okay, this is actually safe. Like we're just creating a bit more capacity, a bit more flexibility. And then that's when we really see some massive transformations, massive like things starting to happen, because they are smaller, they are more digestible. So like just look at one area and be like, this is my only focus. Maybe it is like literally whatever. It could be anything, right? Taking out the recycling to the bins, like going and doing, like, you know, we were both laughing because we had clothes that we wanted to donate. Like, I had so much stuff, and it was literally sitting in a bag and a box. And every time I'd walk by it, I'd be like, oh, I really need to go do that. Literally sat there for fucking ever. Yeah. And then I got so tired of my shit that I literally finally went. I grabbed it and I took Mia. I hauled her. I was like, oh, I have Mia. I should just wait for a date. I was like, nope. Pack her up in the back, throw her in the car seat. And I'm hauling my ass, and I went to the freaking fire station, and I went and donated it. I'm like, these are amazing clothes. I'm super excited for like some family to have these amazing, like, wicked clothes. And it, like, the energy flow, it's like think of everything, money, like every energy is in motion, right? It's constantly. And so if you think about a flowing river, like, this is like why spending money is a good thing too. Like, we're meant to be constantly circulating and in flow of it. If you think of water, when water is flowing, it's like, it's moving, it's fucking powerful, it's fresh, it's clean. And when we pool or we get in fear or we stop like taking action, we move into, like, it's like the water stagnates. Think of water that's stagnated. It turns like brown and there's like flies and it's like turns into like swamp donkey water. It's like, it's right? Like, it's like swampy, and then we wonder why our energy, we feel so fatigued and we feel so tired and we feel so like lethargic. It's because our energy, like, we are energetic beings. This is a whole nother topic as well, but like everything is energy. And so if we are in that stagnated place, we're out of sync with flow, and that becomes very painful. So I think just starting with something that you can do, you can join us in the challenge, you can join the club, or you can just be inspired by this and take some action. Let us know if you do. It'd be so fun. We love to celebrate people, and Kelsey and I are doing this in our lives too. We're fully committed to doing this process ourselves in whatever 100%. Way. And so, like, just take this as your, like, dose of your little injection of motivation, and just go do it and see how you feel, because I guarantee you're going to feel empowered, you're going to feel powerful, you're going to feel just like, oh, I can do this. Yeah. And you can be reminded that you're a badass, and it doesn't have to be, sometimes we love to do the unconventional route, but sometimes people think like, oh, if I want to have a breakthrough in my business or in my relationship, I need to do something that's business and relationship oriented, or my money. And it's actually like sometimes going and, throwing out some stuff that isn't, or donating some stuff is actually the breakthrough. It's the gateway. And then all of a sudden you don't have to,
It's flow, it's ease. Yeah. And I mean, we're not discounting, like, you have to take legitimate actions to build physical wealth and money. But, if you are coming, you can't just sit there passively and be like, I manifested it. Totally. Which we'll talk about on the webinar on Saturday. So if you're hearing this before July 13th, we have the webinar for you to come to. So the invitation is to clean some shit out every single day leading up to the webinar, because if you do that, what you're going to get from that webinar is going to be off the fucking charts. Yeah. And if you are hearing this after the webinar has already happened, you can join the club for $47, and you can get that webinar and get it in your bones, get the workshop that we're doing alongside with it.
Coaching.
Yeah, like there's so much in the club. So if you feel inspired by this episode, like, don't wait to take action. No. Like, take action now.
When you're in your 2.0. Like, that's the thing. Yeah. Like, people get so... I was guilty of this. I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm motivated, I'm doing it. And then I would be like, the lone wolf would be like, you don't need to do this. You don't need to spend money. Just go and do the thing. And then blah, 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 blah. And it's like...
Love is Blind is on.
Community... Repetition is where change happens. Once is great, but having consistency. So I think that's the thing. If you like the vibe, it's like, take the action that takes you to the next level. It and we genuinely mean that, not because we're trying to be like, how can we sneakily get them to pay us? It's not about that.
The challenge is free.
We offer so much free shit. It's not about that. It's just that, like, we know, we know the cocktail of what it is for really fast change and transformation, and what the, like, again, you don't need us, nobody needs anything. It's just that, like, I really value my time because my time is non-renewable. Money is renewable, all these pieces. And so it's like, if I don't, like, I really value that. And so for me, having people in my field who can accelerate that, where I can calibrate to their beliefs and their knowings and what they've been through, that's where, like, the real value is. You're not buying the club, you're buying the decades and years and mentors and the fucking, like, the retreats that we've been on and the hundreds of thousands of dollars of things that we've been on. Like I said that some the other day, I'm like, you're not buying an hour of coaching from me, or, you know, or you, or you're not buying that. You're buying, you know, the decades of work, the fucking the routes that we had to take, the mentors, the people we've hired, the, you know, all the things, the courses we've taken, because it's like you're getting the pill. Here's the thing, the fast track
you're literally
way.
like mainlining that right into your bloodstream.
Yes, versus having to go, you didn't have to go and book the plane ticket and the thing and take the time
Spend
off and
$100,000
hire the babysitter, hire the mentors and the coaches, and, like, that's the thing I think that's really cool, is kind of reframing that a little bit. But anyways, we love you, and
we'll see you at the webinar.
yeah, and we're excited to hear about your transformations. And on the webinar we do Q&A and live coaching as well, so it's a great way for you, you know, to get that. If you have questions and things like that, we'll for sure with you, and we love to hear from you. So, you know, and if you're like, don't be a silent listener. Like, if the amount of people who have kind of like pinged in, or like, oh my God, I love the podcast. I've listened to like the same episode like 4 times because I got so much out of it. I'm like, why didn't you message us?
Yeah,
and
tell us that.
Tell us that, because it's fun for us. I think of how many times I appreciate, or I'm really shifted by something, and I haven't like taken the time to just even mention it. Like, it takes like 2 seconds, but I've really made it a practice.
Makes a difference.
Yeah, it makes a difference. I've made a practice of, if I notice something or if I'm feeling something, I just will take the 2 seconds and be like, hey, I fucking love that, or blah, blah, blah. Like, it really helps us stay excited and motivated and all the things as well. So
I love it.
we love
All right.
you.
Well, that's a wrap, kids.
That's a wrap.
We'll
That's a fucking...
see ya when we see ya next week. Okay, we love you. Bye. All in all, we want to say thank you for being here. We love and appreciate you so much. And if you liked today, give us a 5-star rating, and we'll see you next week.
And share it. If you know somebody who needs this in their life, share this shit. Abundance goes round and round. We love you.
We love you.
Bye.